Hey,
Okay,
what up, Simo?
what's up? Thanks for doing this. Welcome. Let's hop right into it. So you are the founder, the creator of the No Game app.
Yeah, that's right.
That's correct. Now, why did you come up with this idea to make an app for tracking your approaches out there in the world?
Mainly because online dating didn't work for me. I tried a lot and never got good matches, and I felt like this was just not a way I would want to find someone. And so I started going out more and being social in public spaces, in clubs and bars, and it worked much better for me. But I realized that there are lots of problems with that as well, because you probably have to talk to a lot of people before you see some potential matches in the real world. And so just to keep myself motivated, I built that app, and it helped me stay consistent over many years and eventually find my dream partner.
Okay, I see. And you mentioned you're really not in the online dating camp. That is correct. And what do you think are the detriments of online dating? Because and why do you think it doesn't work for, let's say, people like you? Because I think you're pretty attractive.
Yeah, that's for the viewer to decide.
That's for the viewer to decide. Well, exactly. But what is the issue with online dating? Why should we embrace this new way of getting to know people?
Yeah, for me personally, it was just that I couldn't get my attractivity across through the medium of photos. And a lot of people tell me, yeah, I do appear attractive, but it turns out that this attractivity is mostly conveyed through something in the real world and hard to capture on photos. So when a potential partner looks at my photos and looks at how I feel through those photos, she's not enticed, but when she sees me in the real world, she might be really interested, because my attractivity comes from a lot of my personality, from the way I speak, the way I behave, and the way I carry myself, and the way I look into people's eyes. And all of that is just not captured online. So for those people who feel like they're actually attractive, but just not attractive on photos necessarily, for them it's really better to go offline.
Yeah, I see that, and it is almost necessary, I assume, because when you're only dating online, so to say, and you don't get the amount of matches that you could maybe in the real world, then that really takes a hit on your self-esteem.
That's what happened. Every time I started dating online, I gave it a few tries. I swiped for days and usually got maximum one or two matches that I wasn't excited about at all. So
Right.
I felt heavily rejected by the world, and I felt like this was really painful. And I could have probably spent more time optimizing my profile and picking the right angle and getting really professional photos done, but that was not even in any way interesting for me. I didn't want to pimp my profile in order to get better matches. I would rather just go out, have fun, and naturally meet people. And the cool thing about that is that you actually practice your social skills every time, and not just your thumb muscle while swiping.
Yeah, exactly. Now I'm doing this experiment that I told you about, and I'm already a few days in, and I don't want to spoil too much, but it's also my experience so far, and it's been my experience with online dating always that, yeah, it's not as satisfying as the real world. And I'm lucky that I started dating before this whole online dating thing came into existence, and that I had a real world footing and what I can actually get out there. But yeah, it seems like a very tricky thing
Yeah,
for many people,
definitely.
because a lot of people are just, yeah, they feel it's a very easy thing to do an online dating profile, but then they don't get any success. And we talk about men mainly. For women, it's a very different thing. Probably also not the best. Like, I've heard many women talk about it in a way that they're not satisfied either,
Yeah.
because they get messages and messages and messages instead of a single person talking to them in real life. And everybody starts to retract themselves into this, yeah, into this hermit vibe, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's only inside, and
Hiding behind the profile, and that's also a really important insight, that if you learn how to build connections in the real world, you can break through those thousands of messages that a girl is getting every day and get straight to her directly and leave a much stronger impression. And that is the most effective way to compete in the dating market. If you feel like you're not the best looking supermodel out there that she will write to from all the 1,000 matches that she has.
Mm. Yeah, exactly. Now, the name No Game, is that did you think about that?
A lot. It came up through many different avenues. One was that there is already a literature and a community that goes out and actually prefers to meet people offline. And one name that is used for that community is the game community, because there was a book written about this, the game. But it contains a lot of toxic elements and it has a bad rap for a good reason. A lot of people there are very desperate and just kind of harassing sometimes. And so I want to clearly separate myself from that line of thought, and that was one reason I called it No Game. It's not about just getting laid. It is about finding love, and you need to go through a lot of learning and experience, and I want to make sure that you grow as a person and you don't get fucked up in the head or toxic content. So that was one reason. The other reason was that actually the main thing in offline dating is you have to get comfortable with rejections. You have to be comfortable with the fact that you make a statement and express your interest for someone and they just don't reciprocate and they say politely no. And that no is so central that I wanted it to be in the name.
Oh, okay.
It is a game of no's. Mostly you will be experiencing no's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And that's okay, because you can still approach people and get rejected and make it very comfortable for both sides and not make anyone feel weird, and still people will be happy to talk to you. But eventually you have to learn to realize when it's a no and when you have to back off immediately so that it stays respectful and tactful.
Yeah.
It's a game of no's.
That is very smart, if I say so. So, often when I talk to someone, I get the feedback that it's very nice that I approach them and that it's very genuine the way I did it, because I don't come off as pushy or strong. Sometimes I slip, obviously, in a hectic situation or something. But usually I get positive feedback and people encourage me, telling me I should actually go on doing that. Now, this notion of being creepy and pushy is very strong. Online it's almost, it's like it is, right? You always get messages online, hey, you're so beautiful or something. But in real life it's almost more dangerous, because then you actually feel frightened. And what do you have to say about that whole pushiness and, let's say, neediness that is also detrimental for people who try to talk to people out there?
Absolutely. That's actually central to my mission in life. I want to make sure that people don't end up being creepy and do it in that respectful way where it usually makes the other person's day, because they feel flattered and they feel happy even if they're not available or not interested. And that's possible. I know it myself as well, because to me it also happens all the time that I approach someone and they say, no thank you, but that was beautiful, keep doing that, you're on a great track.
Yeah.
And this is beautiful moments that I want to replicate, and I will have to do a lot of work to make sure that the users of my app are educated and trained in a way that they are sensitive to the pitfalls, the dangers, and the creepy moments that can occur. And as you say, in the end there will always be bad sheep, black sheep in a crowd.
Yeah.
And I would say that online there are actually more creepy people than in offline dating situations. But that's just a fact of life, that creepiness will always exist, and my mission is to reduce it to the minimum.
Yeah. That sounds like a very good plan. So you, in the future, try to really give a framework for people. So you almost try to expand over the horizon of this app.
Very much. This app is supposed to give you all you need to learn social skills in the dating context. But then there's much more actually that you need to learn, because it's not enough to be able to talk to strangers and flirt, but you also need to become an attractive person if you want to get good dating results. So I will not say that I will help you solve all your problems in your dating life. You will still have to get good nutrition, work out, make sure you work on your goals in life and get a career and make some money. And those are things that will be outside of the app. But the app will teach you all you need to do once you have all those other basics sorted and you're kind of a confident person, but you still don't know how to approach someone in the real world and make sure that you get the message across that you're interested.
Mm. Yeah, that sounds very promising. And I think that definitely helps a lot of people out there. And you're setting a really good example, because the whole game, so to say, is a little bit polluted, and there's a lot of psychological illness in there, if I may say so. And it's very necessary that normal people, so to say, put their work into this sphere, so that people who are like almost lost or just have a general interest in what it promises really have a good framework to expand upon.
Absolutely, and that is actually a difficult task, because the public and the media will always push people who do offline dating into that creepy bad boy game community.
Yes.
And we need to be strong here and just say no, it's got nothing to do with manipulation, it's got nothing to do with psychological tricks. It's just about being yourself in a social situation in the real world, and then it's almost the rest exactly like online. You have to still go on a date, you still have to seduce someone and actually show your personality and make them really want you back as much as you want them. And that's just something that will always happen in dating, wherever you do it, offline or online.
Yeah, true.
There are strong business interests though that push us all to keep shying away from offline dating, because online is one of the biggest business. Online dating is one of the biggest businesses in the internet right now, and it is all over the place in Berlin if you look at the advertisement, and it wants you to think that you cannot meet people offline. They want you to think that it makes so much more sense to do it online. Well, actually that's not the case.
Not really, and my experiments so far show that as well. And in addition, simply you have to think about that their business model is to keep you tied in. If you actually meet someone you like, they lose a customer.
That is actually really shocking, and I'm sure they have very intelligent people figuring out who to show you so that you don't get hinged right away.
Yeah, there's a massive algorithm behind it. It looks all fun and simple, but there's a strategy.
Oh yeah, and you can basically influence that algorithm by putting money on the table. That's the business model. They say, hey, we decide who you're gonna meet unless you pay us, and then we'll give you what you really want.
Yes.
That's a sick thought for me. That alone is a toxic thought for me. I don't want any company on the other side of the world deciding for me who I may end up with as a romantic partner.
Yeah.
That is shocking. I
Right.
want that to be in my own circle of influence.
And it should be, because it is something very intimate. And it is something between you and the other person. And all of a sudden there's a gatekeeper between you and that person.
I hate that thought.
That is very disgusting. I didn't think about that far, but yes.
It's the most important decision in my life. Who do I want to spend it with? That's gonna influence my life more than anything else I decide. And so I don't want that decision to be tampered with.
Yeah, sounds very valid, and a lot of people should get inspired by that, and will get inspired by that. On that notion, I thank you for your time. It was a very interesting talk.
Peace out.